The hospital bed creaks every time I shift position, which is roughly every 30 seconds because lying still gives my mind too much time to wander. 3 days post-surgery, and I'm counting ceiling tiles like a man on trial row. 47 tiles. I've counted them 16 tiles now. The flowers keep arriving. Roses on Monday, lilies on Tuesday, carnations today. All signed with the same message. Get well soon, my love. David. Because apparently, I'm the only one in this marriage who remembers what affection looks like. My phone buzzes against the metal bed rail. Stephanie's name lights up the screen, and I grab it faster than a drowning man reaches for driftwood. Hey, beautiful, I say, forcing cheer into my voice that I don't feel. Hi, honey. Her voice sounds distant, distracted. How are you feeling? Better. The nurse says I might go home Friday if everything looks good. I pause, waiting for enthusiasm that doesn't come. I miss you. I miss you too. The words sound rehearsed, like she's reading from a script. Listen, I can't talk long. I'm exhausted. This whole situation has been so stressful. Stressful. Right. Because sitting in a comfortable house is so much harder than lying in a hospital bed with tubes running through your arm. Of course, I say. Get some rest. I love you. Love you too. Bye. The line goes quiet, and I stare at the phone screen until it fades to black. 3 minutes. That's how long my wife of 8 years could spare for her husband recovering from surgery. I set the phone aside and reach for the water pitcher, but my hand freezes when I notice Patricia, my night nurse, standing in the doorway. She's a woman in her 50s with graying hair and the kind of no-nonsense expression that comes from seeing too much human drama in hospital corridors. Everything all right, Mr. Mercer? She asks, stepping into the room. Just tired. I lie. Patricia nods, but doesn't move to leave. Instead, she busies herself checking my IV line and adjusting the bed sheets with more attention than necessary. You know, she says casually, I've been working nights here for 12 years. You see all kinds of things during the quiet hours. Something in her tone makes me look up. What do you mean? She glances toward the door, then back at me. Sometimes people think hospitals are private places after visiting hours. They're not. My stomach tightens. Patricia, what are you trying to tell me? I'm not trying to tell you anything, honey. I'm just saying that if someone wanted to visit a patient after hours, they'd need to know which entrance to use. The main doors lock at 9, but the emergency entrance stays open. Someone familiar with the building might know that. The room suddenly feels smaller. Have you seen someone? Patricia straightens my blanket one final time. I've seen a lot of things, Mr. Mercer. Most of them aren't my business. But sometimes when you care about a patient, you notice patterns. She heads toward the door, then pauses. My husband Michael goes to that new gym downtown. Fitness First. He mentions the trainers there sometimes. Says some of them are real characters. The door closes behind her with a soft click, leaving me alone with the beeping monitors and a growing certainty that my marriage is more broken than my surgical site. I reach for my laptop, grateful that the hospital Wi-Fi is decent enough for basic internet browsing. Fitness First has a website with staff photos and bios. It takes me less than 5 minutes to find him. Tyler Brennan, personal trainer, specializes in weight management and cardiovascular health. The photo shows a man in his early 30s with the kind of sculpted physique that screams protein shakes and mirror selfies. His bio mentions flexible scheduling and personalized attention for clients. Personalized attention, I bet. My phone buzzes with a text from Stephanie. Hope you're sleeping well. I'm heading to bed early tonight. This stress is wearing me out. The timestamp reads 9:47 p.m. I screenshot the message, though I'm not sure why. Maybe because some part of me already knows I'll need evidence later. At 11:23 p.m., Patricia appears in my doorway again, this time with a concerned expression. Mr. Mercer, you have a phone call at the nurse's station. The gentleman says it's urgent. I follow her down the hallway, my hospital gown flapping behind me like a ridiculous cape. The phone receiver feels cold against my ear. David Mercer? The voice is unfamiliar, gravelly. Speaking. This is Michael Vance. My wife, Patricia, is your nurse. I glance at Patricia, who's pretending to organize charts while clearly listening. She mentioned you, I say carefully. Look, I don't know you, but Patricia asked me to call. She's worried about you, and frankly, so am I after what she told me. What exactly did she tell you? Michael clears his throat. That you might want to know about the late-night visits your wife has been receiving. From Tyler Brennan, the trainer from my gym. The hospital corridor tilts slightly. I grip the counter to steady myself. How do you know about visits? Because Patricia recognized him. She pointed him out to me at the gym yesterday, asked if I knew him. I told her his reputation, which is, let's just say he's very dedicated to his female clients, especially the married ones. I close my eyes, feeling something cold settle in my chest that has nothing to do with the air conditioning. Mr. Mercer? You still there? Yeah, I'm here. Patricia says he's been coming in through the emergency entrance around 10:30 the last 2 nights. Stays about an hour. Leaves through the back parking garage. And you're telling me this because? Michael's voice softens. Because if it were my wife, I'd want to know. I hang up the phone and walk back to my room in a daze. Patricia follows, her footsteps soft on the linoleum. I'm sorry, honey, she says when we reach my door. Don't be sorry yet, I reply, surprising myself with how calm I sound. I might thank you later. She pats my shoulder and disappears down the hallway. I climb back into bed and stare at the ceiling tiles. 47 tiles. But now, I'm not counting them to pass time. I'm counting them to keep my mind focused while I plan what comes next. Tomorrow is Thursday. I go home Friday. That gives me 24 hours to figure out exactly what my wife has been doing while I recover from surgery. And then, I'll decide what to do about it. Thursday arrives with the kind of gray morning that matches my mood perfectly. I've been awake since 5 a.m., not because of pain or discomfort, but because sleep seems pointless when your world is potentially falling apart. Patricia brings my breakfast tray with an extra cup of coffee and a knowing look. Thought you might need the caffeine, she says, settling into the visitor's chair. You look like you've been thinking all night. Something like that. I take a sip of coffee and wince. Hospital coffee tastes like it was brewed in a gym sock. Patricia, can I ask you something? Shoot. The security cameras in the parking garage. Do they keep footage? She raises an eyebrow. Depends on what you're looking for and why. I think you know why. Patricia is quiet for a moment, then pulls out her phone. My friend Janet works security. She's been here 15 years and doesn't appreciate people who take advantage of hospital policies. She shows me her phone screen. It's a text conversation. Patricia, can you check Tuesday and Wednesday night garage footage? Around 10:30 to 11:30 p.m.? Janet, what am I looking for? Patricia, a visitor who shouldn't be visiting. Janet, give me an hour. She sent these 20 minutes ago, Patricia says, scrolling down. The next message from Janet contains 3 photo attachments. Grainy security camera screenshots showing a man entering the parking garage at 10:34 p.m., 10:41 p.m., and 10:28 p.m. across 3 different nights. The same man in each photo, Tyler Brennan. There's more, Patricia says, scrolling to the final message. Janet, he's been coming in 4 nights this week, always uses the emergency entrance, always parks in the same spot. Security badge shows he's signing in as a family friend visiting room 314. Room 314. My room. I set down the coffee cup with hands that shake slightly. He's been visiting me? According to the sign-in log, yes. But I've been your night nurse all week, David. He's never set foot in this room. The implications hit me like a truck. Tyler has been using my hospitalization as cover to visit Stephanie. While I'm stuck in a hospital bed, he's been in my house, in my space, possibly in my bed. I need to make a phone call, I say. Patricia nods and heads for the door. I'll be at the nurse's station if you need anything. And David? Janet's willing to print those photos if you want them. Print them. After Patricia leaves, I call the one person I trust completely. Riley answers on the second ring. David, how's the recovery going? Riley Matthews has been my best friend since college. He's also a former police detective who now runs a small private investigation business from a cramped office above a sandwich shop downtown. If anyone can help me figure out what's happening, it's him. I need a favor, Riley. A big one. What kind of favor? I tell him everything. The phone calls with Stephanie, Patricia's observations, Michael's warning, the security footage. By the time I finish, Riley is silent for a long moment. You want me to investigate your wife? I want you to find out the truth. David, are you sure you want to know? Sometimes ignorance really is bliss. I'm sure. Riley sighs. All right. Give me Tyler's full name and any other details you have. I'll start digging, but this is going to cost you. How much? A coffee and a donut when you get out of there. And maybe a beer if this goes where I think it's going. Deal. After I hang up, I spend the rest of the morning researching Tyler Brennan online. Social media profiles, business reviews, local news mentions. The picture that emerges isn't pretty. Tyler has been a personal trainer for 6 years. He's worked at 4 different gyms in that time, leaving each one under questionable circumstances. Online reviews mention unprofessional behavior and inappropriate relationships with clients. One review, posted by a woman named Jennifer, is particularly damning. Avoid this trainer. He targets married women and causes nothing but trouble. My phone rings at 2:30 p.m. Stephanie's name appears on the screen. Hi, honey, I answer, forcing normalcy into my voice. Hey, you sound better today. I feel better. Looking forward to coming home tomorrow. About that, Stephanie says, and something in her tone makes me grip the phone tighter. I was thinking maybe you should take it easy this weekend. I could stay at my sister's place, give you some quiet time to recover. My sister-in-law lives 2 hours away. Stephanie would be gone all weekend. That's thoughtful, I lie. But I'd rather have you here. I've missed you. Of course, I just thought, well, never mind. We'll figure it out. How was your workout today? I ask casually. There's a pause. My workout? With Tyler, your personal trainer. Another pause, longer this time. Oh, right, it was good. Really good. He's very dedicated. I bet he is. David, are you feeling all right? You sound strange. Just tired. Hospital beds aren't exactly comfortable. Well, get some rest. I'll see you tomorrow when you come home. Looking forward to it. After she hangs up, I call Riley back. That was quick, he says. What did you find? Enough to make me want to buy you several beers. Tyler Brennan is a piece of work. 3 complaints filed against him for harassment. 2 restraining orders from former clients' husbands. And get this, he was terminated from his last gym for having relationships with married clients. But he's still working at Fitness First? Started there 6 months ago. Apparently his references were selective. 6 months. Stephanie started going to that gym 7 months ago. Riley, I need you to do something else for me. Name it. I need you to follow him tonight. See where he goes after the gym closes. David, I have to ask, what are you planning to do with this information? I stare out the hospital window at the parking garage where Tyler has been meeting my wife. I'm planning to recover, I say. Completely. At 10:15 p.m., I'm standing by my window with the lights off, watching the parking garage. Patricia offered to let me borrow a pair of binoculars from the security office, claiming she needed to check something in the garage herself. At 10:31 p.m., a silver sedan pulls into the garage. Even from 4 floors up, I recognize the driver. Tyler Brennan steps out of his car, looks around carefully, then heads toward the emergency entrance. He's carrying a small bag and wearing civilian clothes instead of his usual gym attire. My phone buzzes with a text from Stephanie. Exhausted again tonight, going to bed early. Love you. The timestamp reads 10:33 p.m. I watch the garage for the next hour and 12 minutes. At 11:45 p.m., Tyler emerges from the emergency entrance, walks to his car, and drives away. 2 minutes later, my phone buzzes again. Stephanie. Can't sleep. Missing you. Can't wait until you're home. I screenshot both messages, then add them to a folder on my laptop that I've labeled Evidence. Tomorrow I go home. Tomorrow I confront the truth. But tonight, I plan my next move. Friday morning arrives with discharge paperwork and a plastic bag containing my personal belongings. Patricia hands me an envelope along with my medication instructions. From Janet, she says quietly. Everything you might need. Inside the envelope are printed security camera photos, visitor log copies, and a handwritten note. Good luck. You deserve better. J. Patricia, I say as I sign the final discharge form. Thank you. For everything. She pats my hand. Some people deserve the truth, David. You're one of them. Riley picks me up at 11 a.m. in his beat-up Honda Civic that smells like coffee and cigarettes. You look terrible, he says, as I settle into the passenger seat. I feel worse. What did you find out last night? Riley hands me a manila folder. Tyler left the gym at 9:45 p.m., drove straight to the hospital, parked in the garage, went inside for exactly 1 hour and 7 minutes, then drove to 1247 Maple Street. 1247 Maple Street, my address. How long did he stay? Until 1:30 a.m. I open the folder. Riley has been thorough. Photos of Tyler's car in my driveway. Timestamps showing when lights went on and off in my house. Even a photo of Tyler leaving through my back door at 1:31 a.m. There's more, Riley says. I did some digging on his background. Tyler's got a side business detailing cars. Works out of a shop on Industrial Avenue. Mostly high-end vehicles. Cash only. Why is that important? Because your wife's been paying him $300 a week for personal training. I checked her bank records. How did you get her bank records? Riley gives me a look. Do you really want to know? No. The payment started 6 months ago, same time she joined the gym. But here's the interesting part. The gym membership only costs $40 a month. I do the math. Stephanie has paid Tyler over $7,000 in 6 months for personal training that apparently includes house calls while her husband recovers from surgery. David, what are you going to do? I'm going to go home and have a conversation with my wife. And then? Then I'm going to have a conversation with Tyler. Riley pulls into my driveway at noon. Stephanie's car isn't there, which means she's either at work or at the gym. Probably the gym. The house feels different when I walk inside. Not physically different, but emotionally different. Like a place where strangers live instead of a married couple. I notice things I never noticed before. The couch cushions are arranged differently. There's a coffee mug in the sink that isn't mine. The living room smells faintly of cologne that I don't wear. I go upstairs to our bedroom and sit on the edge of the bed. The sheets have been changed recently. Stephanie usually does laundry on Sundays, but these sheets are fresh. Clean, like evidence has been erased. My phone rings. Stephanie. David, you're home. How do you feel? Good, rested, ready to get back to normal. That's wonderful. I'm just finishing up at the gym, then I'll be home. Maybe we can order dinner from that Italian place you like? Sounds perfect. What time will you be home? Around 6. I'm doing an extended session today. Extended session. Right. Take your time, I say. I'm not going anywhere. After she hangs up, I call Riley. I need you to do one more thing for me. What now? I need Tyler's home address. David, whatever you're thinking. I'm not thinking anything violent. I just want to have a conversation. Riley is quiet for a moment. He lives at 892 Oak Street. Apartment 3B. David, be careful. This guy has a temper. So do I. I drive to Oak Street in my 10-year-old Toyota, feeling like a man heading to his own execution. Tyler's apartment building is a converted house in a neighborhood that's trying hard to be trendy, but mostly just looks tired. I park across the street and wait. At 3:45 p.m., Tyler's silver sedan pulls into the driveway. He gets out carrying a gym bag and a protein shake, looking every inch the fitness professional. I cross the street and intercept him at the front door. Tyler Brennan? He turns and I see recognition flash in his eyes. He knows who I am. Yeah. Who's asking? David Mercer? I think we need to talk. Tyler's expression shifts from confusion to something that might be amusement. About what? About the visits you've been making to my house while I was in the hospital. I don't know what you're talking about. I pull out my phone and show him one of Riley's photos. Tyler in my driveway at 11:47 p.m. on Wednesday night. This says otherwise. Tyler looks at the photo, then back at me. His amusement fades. Look, man, I don't want any trouble. Then stop visiting my wife. Your wife is a grown woman. She makes her own choices. My wife is married. To me. Tyler shrugs. Maybe you should talk to her about that. Something hot and angry flares in my chest. I step closer to Tyler, close enough to smell his expensive cologne. I'm talking to you. Stay away from my house. Stay away from my wife. Find someone else to take advantage of. Tyler laughs, actually laughs. Take advantage of? Dude, your wife came to me. She's the one who wanted extra attention. Extra attention? Private sessions, personal coaching, one-on-one instruction. Tyler's smile is nasty. She's very dedicated to her fitness goals. I want to hit him. The urge is so strong that my hands clench into fists before I can stop them. But hitting Tyler won't solve anything. It'll just give him ammunition to use against me. Instead, I reach into my pocket and pull out the bouquet of wilted flowers from my hospital room. You forgot these, I say, shoving them into Tyler's chest. Next time you visit a patient, you should bring flowers. It's polite. Tyler stumbles backward, dropping his gym bag. The flowers scatter across the sidewalk. You're crazy, he says. I'm recovered, I reply. And if I see you near my house again, you'll find out just how recovered I am. I walk back to my car, leaving Tyler standing on the sidewalk, surrounded by wilted carnations. In my rearview mirror, I see him pull out his phone and make a call, probably calling Stephanie to warn her. Good. Let him warn her. Let them both know that the game has changed. I drive home and wait for my wife to return from her extended session. When she walks through the door at 6:15 p.m., she's glowing with post-workout endorphins and carrying takeout bags from the Italian restaurant. You look wonderful, I say, and mean it. Stephanie has always been beautiful. That's never been our problem. Thank you. You look better too. More like yourself. We eat dinner and make small talk about my recovery and her work. She doesn't mention the gym or Tyler or extended sessions. She doesn't mention anything that matters. After dinner, we're cleaning dishes when her phone buzzes on the counter. She glances at it, and I see her face change. Everything all right? I ask. Fine. Just work stuff. But I saw the name on the screen before she turned the phone over. Tyler. Stephanie, I say quietly. We need to talk. About what? About Tyler Brennan. She goes very still, a plate halfway between the sink and the dish rack. What about him? I know about the visits, while I was in the hospital. Stephanie sets the plate down carefully and turns to face me. Her expression is calm, but I can see calculation behind her eyes. David, I think you're confused. I have security camera footage. Of what? Of Tyler coming to our house, multiple times, while you were too tired to talk to your husband in the hospital. Stephanie crosses her arms. You're spying on me? I'm protecting myself. From what? From being made a fool of by my wife and her personal trainer. The words hang in the air between us like a challenge. Stephanie stares at me for a long moment, then sighs. It's not what you think. Then explain it to me. Tyler has been helping me with a surprise, a fitness program for when you got home from surgery. I wanted to be in better shape, more energetic, for you. The lie is so smooth, so reasonable, that for a moment I almost believe it. Almost. And this surprise required him to visit at midnight? The planning sessions ran late. We lost track of time. Planning sessions. Yes. I pull out my phone and show her the bank records Riley obtained. $7,000 in 6 months for planning sessions? Stephanie's calm facade cracks slightly. How did you get those? Does it matter? David, you're being paranoid. The surgery, the medication, the stress, it's affecting your judgment. My judgment is fine. It's my marriage that's broken. Stephanie's phone buzzes again. Another text from Tyler. She doesn't look at it, but we both know it's there. I think, she says carefully, that you need to rest. This conversation isn't productive. You're right, I say. It's not. I walk upstairs to our bedroom and begin packing a suitcase. Stephanie follows, watching from the doorway. Where are you going? To Riley's place. I need some space to think. David, please. Don't do anything rash. I stop packing and look at her. Really look at her. The woman I married 8 years ago. The woman I sent flowers to every day while recovering from surgery. The woman who was too tired to talk to me, but not too tired for midnight visits from her personal trainer. The only rash thing I did, I say, was trust you. I finish packing and walk past her toward the stairs. At the bedroom door, I pause. Stephanie? Yes? When you see Tyler tonight, tell him I said hello. I leave her standing in our bedroom and drive to Riley's apartment. He opens the door with a beer in his hand and a knowing look on his face. How did it go? About as well as expected. What's the plan now? I take the beer he offers and settle onto his couch. Now I figure out how to get my life back. And Tyler? Tyler's about to learn that some people recover faster than others. Riley raises his beer bottle. To recovery. To recovery, I agree, and start planning my next move. Saturday morning brings rain and the kind of hangover that comes from drinking too much beer while plotting revenge. Riley's couch wasn't designed for sleeping, and my surgical site aches from the awkward position. Coffee? Riley asks, appearing in the kitchen doorway looking surprisingly alert. Please. He hands me a mug of coffee that actually tastes like coffee instead of gym socks. So what's the plan today? Today, I become the villain. Meaning? Meaning I stop playing defense and start playing offense. Riley sits across from me at his small kitchen table. David, I have to ask, are you sure about this? Once you cross certain lines, there's no going back. They cross the line first. That doesn't mean you have to cross it too. I think about Stephanie's face last night when I confronted her. The way she lied so smoothly. The way she tried to make me feel crazy for believing evidence. Yes, it does. Riley sighs. All right, what do you need? I need Tyler's work schedule. I need to know when he's at the gym and when he's not. I can get that. What else? I need his car detailing shop address again, and I need you to keep Stephanie under surveillance today. David, I'm not going to hurt anyone, Riley. I'm just going to level the playing field. Riley makes some phone calls while I shower and change into clothes that don't smell like hospital antiseptic. By the time I'm dressed, he has Tyler's schedule. He works at the gym from noon to 8 today. Then he's got the car detailing shop from 9 to midnight. Perfect. What are you planning? I'm planning to send a message. At 11:30 a.m., I drive to Industrial Avenue and find Tyler's car detailing shop. It's exactly what I expected. A rundown garage with expensive cars parked outside and the kind of security that relies more on location than actual protection. Tyler's silver sedan is parked behind the building. I circle the block twice, making sure no one is watching, then park in an alley across the street. The revenge I have planned isn't sophisticated. It's not clever. It's just petty enough to make Tyler understand that actions have consequences. I walk to his car carrying a 5-pound bag of sugar I bought at the grocery store. The gas cap isn't locked, neither are the doors. Tyler apparently believes in trusting people. Big mistake. I pour half the sugar into his gas tank and save the rest for his oil reservoir. Then I take out my keys and carve a simple message into his driver's side door. Cheater. For the final touch, I stuff his windshield wipers with flyers from Fitness First, the same gym where he preys on married women. Let him explain that to his detailing customers. The whole operation takes less than 10 minutes. I'm back in my car and driving away before anyone notices. My phone rings as I'm heading back to Riley's apartment. Unknown number. Hello? Is this David Mercer? The voice is angry, familiar. Speaking. This is Tyler. I think you know why I'm calling. I have no idea what you're talking about. My car, you psycho. What did you do to my car? I haven't been near your car. The sugar, the scratches, the flyers. This is harassment. Prove it. Tyler is quiet for a moment. When he speaks again, his voice is lower, more dangerous. You want to play games? Fine. Let's play games. But remember, your wife came to me. She wanted this. She's been wanting this for months. Wanting what, exactly? Everything I've been giving her. Everything you obviously can't. The line goes quiet. Tyler has hung up, but his message is clear. This is war now. Good. I prefer war to lies. I drive back to Riley's apartment and find him waiting with a concerned expression and a fresh pot of coffee. Tyler called you, didn't he? Riley says. How did you know? Because he just called me too. Apparently, he thinks I'm your accomplice. What did you tell him? I told him I have no idea what he's talking about. Then I told him that harassing a private investigator probably isn't his smartest move. Riley pours coffee for both of us and sits down heavily. David, this is escalating fast. Tyler's angry and angry people do stupid things. Let him do stupid things. It'll just give me more ammunition. What if he retaliates against Stephanie? The question stops me cold. I hadn't considered that Tyler might take his anger out on my wife, ex-wife, whatever she is now. He won't hurt her, I say, but I'm not entirely convinced. You sure about that? Because from what I've learned about Tyler Brennan, he's not exactly stable when it comes to relationships. Riley is right, and I know it, but I'm too angry to care about Tyler's stability. I'm too hurt to worry about Stephanie's safety. She made her choice, I say, and you're making yours. Yes, I am. That evening, Riley and I go to Murphy's Bar, a dive establishment that serves strong drinks and minds its own business. I'm on my third beer when my phone buzzes with a text from Stephanie. David, please come home. We need to talk. I show the message to Riley. You going to respond? Eventually. What are you waiting for? For Tyler to discover what I did to his car. I don't have to wait long. At 9:47 p.m., my phone rings. Stephanie's number. David, what did you do? Hello to you too, dear. Tyler's car won't start. The engine is ruined. He thinks you sabotaged it. That's a serious accusation. Does he have proof? David, please, this has gone far enough. Has it? Because from where I'm sitting, it's just getting started. What do you want? The question hangs in the air. What do I want? I want my wife back. I want my marriage back. I want to undo the last week and go back to being the man who sent flowers and made phone calls and trusted his spouse, but that's impossible. I want honesty, I say finally. About what? About everything, about Tyler, about the money, about the lies. Stephanie is quiet for a long moment. If I tell you the truth, will you stop this? Depends on what the truth is. Come home, please. Let's talk face to face. I look at Riley, who's been listening to my side of the conversation. He shakes his head slightly. I'll be home in an hour, I say. Thank you. I hang up and finish my beer. Riley pays the tab without being asked. You sure about this? He says as we walk to the parking lot. No, but I'm sure about what happens if I don't go. Which is? I spend the rest of my life wondering what she would have said. Riley nods. Call me if you need backup. I will. I drive home through empty streets, wondering if I'm walking into a trap or an apology. When I pull into my driveway, every light in the house is on. Stephanie's car is there, but Tyler's damaged sedan is nowhere to be seen. I sit in my car for a moment, gathering courage I didn't know I needed. Then I walk to my front door and let myself into the house where my marriage is about to end. Stephanie is waiting in the living room, sitting on the edge of the couch like she's ready to run. She's been crying. Thank you for coming, she says. Thank you for asking. I sit in the chair across from her, maintaining distance. We stare at each other for a moment. Two people who used to share everything, now sharing nothing but hurt. You want the truth? She says finally. I want the truth. Tyler and I have been having an affair for 3 months. The words hit me like a physical blow, even though I already knew them. Hearing her say it makes it real in a way that security footage and bank records couldn't. 3 months. It started as just training sessions, then we began talking, then you started visiting him while I was in the hospital. Yes. And the money? Private sessions, at his apartment, and some other things. What other things? Stephanie looks away. Gifts, dinners, a weekend trip to the coast. While I was working overtime to pay for your gym membership. David, I'm sorry. I never meant for this to happen. But it did happen. Yes. I lean back in the chair and study my wife's face. She looks genuinely remorseful, genuinely hurt. But she also looks relieved, like confessing has lifted a weight off her shoulders. Why? I ask. Because you stopped seeing me. What do you mean? When was the last time you really looked at me, David? When was the last time we went on a date? When was the last time you told me I was beautiful without me asking? The questions sting because they contain truth. We had gotten comfortable, complacent. We had stopped trying. So you decided to have an affair. I decided to feel wanted again. And Tyler made you feel wanted. Yes. Even though he's been doing the same thing with other married women. Stephanie's head snaps up. What? Tyler has a pattern, Stephanie. You're not special. You're just convenient. That's not true. I pull out my phone and show her the research Riley compiled. Reviews from other women, complaints filed against Tyler, his history of targeting married clients. Stephanie reads in silence, her face growing paler with each revelation. He told me I was different, she says quietly. They always do. She sets the phone aside and looks at me with something that might be understanding. You really did your homework. I had to. My wife was lying to me. I'm sorry. For which part? The affair or getting caught? Stephanie considers the question seriously. Both. At least she's honest about that. What happens now? She asks. Now we figure out how to end this marriage without destroying each other. It doesn't have to end. Yes, it does. David, please. We can work through this. Can we? Can you look me in the eye and promise you'll never see Tyler again? Stephanie opens her mouth to speak, then closes it. The silence is answer enough. I didn't think so, I say. I stand up and head for the stairs. I'll pack the rest of my things tomorrow. David! I stop at the bottom of the staircase. For what it's worth, I did love you. Past tense noted. I go upstairs and pack another suitcase, leaving behind 8 years of marriage and a wife who loved me in past tense. When I come back downstairs, Stephanie is still sitting on the couch, staring at her phone. "Tyler?" I ask. "He wants to see me." "Of course he does." "David, I'm scared." "Of what?" "Of what you might do next." I stop at the front door and look back at her one final time. "You should be scared," I say. "But not of me." I leave her sitting in our living room and drive back to Riley's apartment, where I begin planning the final act of my revenge. Some recoveries take longer than others. Mine is just getting started. Sunday arrives with clear skies and the kind of crisp air that makes everything seem possible. I wake up on Riley's couch feeling more clear-headed than I have in weeks. The confession from Stephanie has lifted a weight I didn't realize I was carrying. Now I know exactly where I stand. Riley emerges from his bedroom carrying 2 cups of coffee and wearing the expression of a man who's been thinking all night. "I've been doing some research," he says, handing me a cup. "What kind of research?" "The kind that might interest you." He sits down and opens his laptop. "Remember how I mentioned Tyler has a pattern with married women?" "Yeah." Well, I dug deeper. Turns out one of those married women is someone you know. Riley turns the laptop screen toward me. It shows a social media profile with photos of Tyler and a woman I recognize immediately. Carla Morrison, Stephanie's best friend. "When was this taken?" I ask, studying the photo. 2 weeks ago, but here's the interesting part. I found evidence of their relationship going back 4 months. 4 months. Which means Tyler was seeing Carla before he started seeing Stephanie. "There's more," Riley continues, scrolling through additional photos. "Look at the dates on these." The photos show Tyler and Carla together at restaurants, in hotel rooms, at the gym. The timestamps reveal a pattern that makes my stomach turn. He was seeing them both at the same time. Gets better, or worse, depending on your perspective. Riley opens another window, showing text message screenshots. Carla sent these to Tyler 3 weeks ago. The messages are damning. Carla: "When are you going to tell Stephanie about us?" Tyler: "Why would I do that? This arrangement works fine." Carla: "Because I'm tired of sharing you." Tyler: "Then maybe you should have thought about that before you introduced me to your married friend." Carla: "That was supposed to be temporary, a distraction." Tyler: "From what?" Carla: "From David. I wanted Stephanie to see what she was missing." The final message in the thread makes everything clear. Carla: "I've been in love with Stephanie for years. You were supposed to help me break up her marriage, not steal her from me." I set the laptop aside and lean back against the couch cushions. The betrayal runs deeper than I imagined. Carla, who I've known for 6 years, who was maid of honor at our wedding, who Stephanie trusts completely, orchestrated the entire affair. "How did you get these messages?" I ask. Tyler's phone isn't as secure as he thinks it is. Amazing what people will do for the right price. "You bribed someone?" I prefer the term incentivized information sharing. I study the messages again, pieces of the puzzle clicking into place. Carla's sudden interest in Stephanie joining a gym, her recommendations for the best trainer, her constant presence during my recovery, offering support while secretly hoping my marriage would collapse. "Riley, I need you to do something else for me." "What now?" "I need you to arrange a meeting." "With who?" "Everyone involved, Stephanie, Tyler, and Carla, together." "David, that sounds like a recipe for disaster." "Exactly." Riley closes the laptop and looks at me seriously. "What are you planning?" "I'm planning to give them exactly what they want." "Which is?" "The truth. All of it. In front of everyone." That afternoon, I call Stephanie. "David, how are you?" "I'm good. Better than good, actually. I've been thinking about what you said last night." "About working through this?" "About honesty. I think you're right. We all need to be honest with each other." "What do you mean?" I think we should have a group conversation. You, me, Tyler, and Carla. Carla? Why Carla? Because she's been such a good friend through all of this. I think she deserves to know what's happening. Stephanie is quiet for a moment. David, I'm not sure that's a good idea. Why not? If we're going to be honest, let's be completely honest, in front of the people who matter most. When were you thinking? Today, this evening, that park near downtown, the one with the pavilion. David, unless you have something to hide? The challenge hangs in the air. Stephanie can't refuse without seeming guilty. Fine. What time? 7 o'clock. And Stephanie? Make sure Tyler and Carla are both there. This conversation involves everyone. I hang up and immediately call Riley. It's set. 7 p.m. at Riverside Park. You sure about this? I'm sure. What do you need me to do? Just be there, with your camera, and maybe some backup. Backup? I have a feeling this is going to get interesting. At 6:45 p.m., I arrive at Riverside Park carrying a small recording device and a folder containing printouts of everything Riley discovered. The pavilion is empty except for a few joggers and dog walkers. Stephanie arrives first, looking nervous and overdressed for a park meeting. She's followed by Tyler, who's wearing sunglasses despite the approaching sunset and carrying himself like a man expecting trouble. Carla arrives last, and I study her face carefully as she approaches. She looks concerned, confused, like someone who's been invited to a party without knowing what the occasion is. David, she says, giving me a hug that feels like a performance. Stephanie said you wanted to talk to all of us. That's right. I think it's time we cleared the air. We gather around a picnic table, the four of us arranged like players in a card game where everyone's been cheating. So, I begin, let's start with honesty. Stephanie, would you like to tell Tyler and Carla about our conversation last night? Stephanie glances nervously at Tyler. David, maybe we should... She told me about the affair, I say, cutting her off. 3 months of lies, secret meetings, and $7,000 in payments for personal training. Tyler shifts uncomfortably, but doesn't speak. Carla's expression doesn't change, which tells me everything I need to know. But here's what's interesting, I continue, opening my folder. The affair isn't the real story. The real story is how it started. I place the first set of printouts on the table. Photos of Tyler and Carla together, dated 4 months ago. Tyler, would you like to explain to Stephanie why you were sleeping with her best friend before you started sleeping with her? Stephanie's head snaps toward Carla, then Tyler. What is he talking about? Tyler removes his sunglasses and glares at me. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? I place the text message printouts on the table. These are your messages with Carla, the ones where she admits to setting up the whole thing. Stephanie reads the messages, her face growing pale. When she finishes, she looks at Carla with an expression I've never seen before. You introduced me to Tyler on purpose? Carla's carefully composed mask finally slips. Stephanie, I can explain. You've been sleeping with him this whole time? It's not what you think. What I think, Stephanie says, standing up from the picnic table, is that my best friend has been manipulating me for months. Tyler stands too, clearly ready to leave. This is crazy. I'm not listening to this. Sit down, I say quietly. Make me. I pull out my phone and show him a video file. This is security footage from your apartment building. It shows Carla visiting you last Tuesday night, while you were supposedly committed to Stephanie. Tyler sits down. Now, I continue, let's talk about what happens next. What do you mean? Stephanie asks. I mean you all get exactly what you wanted. Stephanie, you wanted excitement and attention. Tyler, you wanted money and easy targets. Carla, you wanted to destroy my marriage so you could have Stephanie for yourself. I stand up and look at each of them in turn. Congratulations, you succeeded. My marriage is over. But here's the thing about getting what you want. Sometimes it comes with consequences you didn't expect. I place a final document on the table. Divorce papers. Stephanie, you can have Tyler, or you can have Carla, or you can have neither. I don't care anymore. David, please. Tyler, you can keep manipulating married women until someone's husband decides to solve the problem permanently, which, based on your track record, should be soon. Tyler's jaw tightens, but he doesn't speak. And Carla, you can explain to Stephanie why you've been lying to her for months. Maybe she'll forgive you. Maybe she won't. I gather my papers and head toward the parking lot. David, wait! Stephanie calls after me. I turn back one final time. You know what the funny thing is? I would have fought for our marriage. If you had just been honest with me, if you had told me you were unhappy, we could have worked through it. We still can. No, we can't. Because this isn't about unhappiness. This is about character. And your character is something I can't fix. I walk to my car, leaving the three of them sitting at the picnic table with the wreckage of their lies spread out between them. As I drive away, I can see them in my rearview mirror, still sitting there, probably trying to figure out how to blame me for their own choices. My phone rings as I'm pulling into Riley's apartment complex. Unknown number. Hello? Mr. Mercer? This is Janet from hospital security. Janet, what can I do for you? I wanted to let you know that Tyler Brennan was just arrested in our parking garage. Arrested for what? Vandalism and trespassing. Apparently, he came back tonight and tried to break into the building. Security cameras caught everything. I smile for the first time in weeks. Thank you for letting me know. Mr. Mercer, for what it's worth, I'm sorry about what happened. You seem like a good man. Thank you, Janet. I appreciate that. I hang up and walk into Riley's apartment, where he's waiting with 2 beers and a satisfied expression. How did it go? Better than expected. And Tyler's arrest? You arranged that, didn't you? Riley grins. I may have mentioned to Janet that Tyler had been making threats, and I may have suggested that he might try to return to the scene of his previous crimes. You're a good friend, Riley. I'm a good friend who's about to be unemployed. What are you going to do now? I think about the question as I open my beer. What am I going to do now? Now I recover, I say. Completely. And then? Then I start over. Riley raises his beer bottle. To starting over. To starting over, I agree. Outside, it's starting to rain again, but I don't mind. Rain washes things clean. Rain helps new things grow, and I'm ready for something new. The recovery is complete.